Hi everybody, welcome to week 2 of Sunday School at St. Paul's, where we are doing a program called An Illustrated Earth. This is week 2. Last week we talked about water and the book of Genesis, when God created the earth and the land and the sky and the sea. And today we have a story again about water, because we're in our water module. And it is the story of Moses and the Red Sea. And this story comes to us from the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verses 15 through 31. So, what you need to know about the story is that there were a group of people called the Israelites. And they had been slaves in the land of Egypt for years and years and years. And they really weren't that happy about it. They wanted to leave. And so they called out to God and they were like, "You rescue us, help us, rescue us." And the man in charge in Egypt, the Pharaoh, was having none of this. He was happy with how everything was going. And so God decided to help the Israelites and sent a few different problems and challenges to the Pharaoh to get him to change his mind about letting the Israelites go. But he didn't. He didn't change his mind. He didn't change his mind. He didn't change his mind until finally he was like, "I've had enough. This is too much. Yes, the Israelites can go. You guys need to pack up and leave now." And they did. So the Israelites packed up and they left Egypt, and they walked and they walked and they walked through the desert. They weren't quite sure where they were going, but God said that he had a plan and they just needed to trust him. So once, they had left Egypt and were walking, the Pharaoh changed his mind and said, "You know what? I think I want the Israelites back. I liked how it was working. We need to go get them." So he got his army together and started chasing after the Israelites through the desert. And the Israelites saw this and they were a little concerned and were like, "What are we going to do?" And what happened was that they reached the Red Sea and they were unable to cross it. Now, picture in your mind a big sea or a river, like we see the Susquehanna almost every day, right? Imagine something bigger than that. And they're standing there going, "We have these people chasing us, and now we're standing at the edge of a river or the sea, the Red Sea. What are we going to do?" And they cried out to the Lord in fear. And the Lord told Moses, who was leading the Israelites on this journey, "Tell the people to get going. And Moses, I want you to lift your shepherd's rod over the Red Sea. I am going to protect you and your people, and both you and the Egyptians will see my power." So when Moses stretched his rod over the sea, the Lord pushed the sea back with a strong wind, and the waters split, forming 2 big walls on either side. And the Israelites walked through on dry land. Imagine that. Like the water just splitting and opening with like a path for the Israelites to walk across. The Egyptians, of course, see this and go and chase after them, after the Israelites, but their chariot wheels were jammed into the sand and they started to get panicked. And the Egyptians cried out as they started to turn around and run back to the shore that the Lord is fighting for the Israelites. The Lord is taking care of them. And then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch your hand back over the sea so the water returns and covers the Egyptians." And when Moses did this, the walls of water came crashing down and covered the Egyptians. The Lord rescued Israel from the Egyptians that day. Israel saw that the Lord's amazing power and was really in awe of it. And their trust in the Lord and in Moses, who was leading them, grew and grew. So that's pretty awe-inspiring, I think. If you can picture in your mind's eye, imagine the Susquehanna just splitting and allowing us to walk through and then closing back up. Like, wow, that would be amazing, right? So for me, I think that was pretty awe-inspiring. And so when you think about this little story, what kind of like sticks out in your mind as like one of the most incredible things about it? There's a couple different aspects to it. And what do you think it would have been like if you were one of the Israelites who had that ability to cross the sea on the land and seeing those walls of water? What do you think that they must have been thinking, or even what do you think the Egyptians were thinking when they saw that and realized that they didn't have the protection from God like the Israelites did? I bet you they were a bit panicked and worried and scared. Yeah. So, and have you ever had a time where you asked God for help? And did you receive that help? How did you ask God for help? And how did that feel when you did it? What happened? So today I have a science experiment for you. We are going to part the Red Seas in our own little way. So this is an experiment that you can do at home with your grown-ups. So what you're gonna need is a bowl, like, or a shallow dish or a plate, some water, just regular water, because we're gonna pour that into the bowl. Need some dish soap and a little bowl to put that in. Pepper, and then if you've got a popsicle stick or a plastic fork or spoon, we're going to be using the edges of this. But because we were talking about Moses and the Red Sea, I made my own Moses. So here he is with his shepherd's hook that he used to part the sea, and we're going to be using him. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your water and you're just going to put a wee bit of it into your shallow container, okay? And then what you want to do is take some of your detergent, your dishwashing soap, and put that a little bit into the bowl. So you have some there. Okay, then what you're going to do is take your pepper. We're going to open this up and we're going to put a little bit, enough pepper so that it covers up the top of the water. So you can see there, that's a good amount of pepper in our water. Now, depending on what you're using, if you're using a popsicle stick or the plastic spoon, like I said, I'm using my little Moses here. What you're going to do is pop him into the dish detergent, and then check it out what happens when you dip him into the water. He separated the pepper. Just like when Moses parted the Red Sea. Very cool, very fast, and super easy. Check that out. Haha! Can you try this at home? Give it a whirl. That experiment was pretty cool, huh? Seeing all that pepper separate. And again, imagining what it must have been like to see a huge sea, the Red Sea, part and open up so that the Israelites could cross to safety and continue on their journey with Moses. So thanks for joining me for week 2. Next week, we're going to continue on with our discussion about water, and we'll have some more fun things to do. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, and let's close with a prayer, shall we? Okay. Awesome God, you've come through for us and helped us in amazing ways before. You see paths that we cannot see. We feel hope knowing all things are possible for you. Amen. All right, everybody, have a great week. Thanks for joining me. I love that you guys are checking in and enjoying all of this, and we'll continue to have more fun. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.